Your alternative talk radio contact. The Planet. KGRAradio.com.
With infinite complacency, people went to and fro over the earth about their little affairs, serene in the assurance of their dominion over this small, spinning fragment of solar driftwood, which by chance or design, man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space.
Do you enjoy true stories of the supernatural from the people who experienced it? Well, then you might like my show, Jim Harold's Campfire. Hi, I'm Jim, and we've been doing this show since 2009. And we talk about ghosts, cryptid creatures, UFOs, head scratchers, you name it. And you tune in and you might hear a story like this one.
And as he was driving home, he encountered a shadow person who seemed to be dressed like a monk. I know that sounds very strange, but it was a solid black form, and it was wearing a hooded cloak tied at the waist with the cloak up, and it had glowing red eyes. He sees this thing coming out of a really teeny abandoned cemetery.
If you haven't tuned in, I hope you'll check us out. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever podcasts are heard. It's Jim Harold's Campfire, and you can find it at jimharold.com. Thanks so much, and stay spooky.
Hello, everybody. Just a quick reminder before we get to my talk with Branden that tomorrow, Friday, March 29th, 2019, On the Trail of Bigfoot by Seth Breedlove and his Small Town Monsters is available to purchase by going to either Amazon or smalltownmonsters.com. And I myself was lucky enough to be part of that project, so you can see me in On the Trail of Bigfoot starting tomorrow, March 29th. Well, Branden, I know that you contacted me because of Will's episode, his first episode, not the most recent Dogman episode, but 171, which was titled Franklin and the Troll. And it was specifically, though, about the portion of the black eyes, you said, right?
Yeah. So I got like a whole slew of, I actually wrote down a bunch of bullet points on a notebook paper, because I've had quite a bit of experiences since I was since I was like 2.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one instance that I remember back then. My mom told me some stuff back when I was a kid that's happened to me. I only remember one thing specific, or actually like a few things specifically about that house that I grew up in. I don't know if you want me to start chronologically or
however you want to. Sure, yeah.
All right, so I got this one. So I grew up south end of Toledo, and this house is pretty old. I think it was built in like 1920s, I want to say, this house I'm at, and I actually live down the street now currently from it. One of the first things that I remember, or one of the only things I remember paranormal wise, is I was probably like 2 or 3. I was still in a crib, so I'm probably closer to 2. I was able to crawl out of it. My mom even remembers me crawling out of the crib at a certain age.
You're a little escape artist, huh?
Yeah. So I left out of my room, and I remember the door closing behind me. And so I went in, and I turned around, and I was like, and just walked away towards my parents' room, which is right across the hall. And it felt like I was trying to like open the door, because the door handles were short enough for me to open them. And it felt like someone was trying to like hold the door closed. And so I walked over. There's like a kind of like our hallway kind of turns like at an angle. And there's like a bathroom on the right hand side at this angle, and then my parents' room on the other side. And I sat down in that little corner, and I'm like kind of crying because I'm freaking out, because I didn't really like sleeping in my bedroom. It was kind of creepy. But I looked up, and there was like a face like in the wall, like staring at me. And that's really all I remember. And I probably could have gotten up, like fallen asleep and right there, and then gotten up and later on the night went back to my crib. Because my mom said I used to do that. But shortly after that, I started like staying in their room because of I had started having sinus problems and stuff when I was growing up. And then she told me, because my mom always told me that I used to see people walking up the stairs. I used to be terrified of walking upstairs by myself and going downstairs. I remember that a lot. I really did not like going up and down the stairs by myself.
So she said that you told her that you didn't want to go up the stairs because you saw people on them.
Yeah.
Oh, what do they look like? Did she say that you described them?
She said they were, what I said was carrying buckets of water like on their shoulders.
Oh gosh.
Like walk like back on their back in the old days, like walking up, you know. So that's what I saw. And then I saw another instance with the buckets of water thing. I used to have we had a buffet table in the dining room, like built in, and I had my toys in one of the little cabinets on it, and I used to just sit in there and play. And my mom said it happened a few times where I would run out of the dining room just screaming my head off. And there was she said that she was like, back then she would just say, was it a boy people or a girl people? And I was like, 2. And I was like, it was a lady, which is kind of weird for me to say back then. And then she had me describe what she looked or what she was doing or whatever. And I said that she was carrying buckets of water, walking through the dining room, and left out the where the china cabinet was, out through the wall. And that's all. I didn't really remember that one too much, or really.
I wonder if there used to be a door there or something that would be an exit.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, the house was pretty old even back then in the early 90s. And then when I was in the kitchen, we had a snack cabinet I used to go up into and grab cookies or whatever. But I used to hear someone calling my name. Always when I was in that exact spot, I would just hear someone whispering my name. And I'd and it was just in that one spot when I was getting snacks or whatever. I would just hear someone calling me. And and I'd look around and see if it was my parents, and no one called me. And then one night, this was when I was had my sinus problems. I was sleeping in my parents' room. I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw a big white dog, kind of up above the bed. And I woke up screaming. I said there was I thought it was our dog. We had a white husky. I was like, JD's in the bedroom, and they turned the lights on. Nothing was there. Our dog was in the kennel. My dad built a custom kennel out in the garage that was heated and everything, so that's where our dog was at. So that was another one that I remember. The spare room was always, we had a spare room that's next to my room, and I never really enjoyed going in there. There was always something kind of off about that room. And my parents also talked to the past owners, and they said they used to see someone come from my bedroom closet out into the hallway and then walk into the bathroom and then disappear into that closet. So someone else saw the whatever was going on in that place. So.
Oh, and in your room, of course, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Had to be your room.
Of course.
Oh my gosh. So the previous owners then were corroborating these tales. I mean, did they talk about other activity in the home?
Not really. They just said that their daughter used to see someone walking out of my room and into the other room. So that's honestly, that's all they said they saw, but still kind of confirms that there's something.
Yeah.
Something going on there.
Now, what about the white dog? That is so strange. So it was just the one time that you saw this white dog above the bed? Yeah,
it was just that one time, just randomly. I woke up and I saw it was big, and I was and I woke up screaming and asked, and I was like, why? And I thought it was our dog, and no, they turned the light on. Nothing was there. Right when they turned the light on, it just disappeared.
Do you think that there's any chance that things that are one-offs, and of course my own experience was a one-off, but and you might be the same, no, I wasn't asleep, I know exactly what was going on. Of course mine was during the day, but
Yeah.
Have you thought back and gone, well, maybe I dreamed that?
I thought about it, but it was just weird because I remember waking up because I didn't see, I didn't wake up and say, oh, there's a dog. I actually saw it, and I was sitting there awake looking at this thing.
Okay.
And then I woke them up, and then they turned the light on and it was gone.
I wonder and I'm sure that the listeners, once they hear this, I'll get emails about it, but I wonder what the symbolism of seeing a white dog might be.
Yeah, because I know black dogs, in UK, their folklore is always a bad omen. So
yeah, you see black shuck, you might be on your way out. So maybe that was just you have a long, happy, healthy life. There you go. Yeah, you see a white dog. More people should see those instead of black shuck, right?
Yeah. All right, so that's all that's happened in that house that I can remember. There's one instance, because shortly after that, when I was about 5, my parents split up, and then my mom got into this apartment, which I was there for a while, and then my dad eventually moved out of that house into another house, which I have stories about that one too. That's where a lot of my main experiences happened, was in that house after a certain amount of time of us being there. But at the apartment that my mom lived at, I remember in the middle of the night, I woke up and I saw a ghost cat, which I think it was my old cat, Whiskey, looking out for me, because it was just sitting there in the middle of the room, just kind of looking back and forth. And then I eventually just fell asleep, and I was probably about 8 or 9 when that happened.
And it was just the one time that you might have seen Whiskey. Great name, by the way.
Yeah. So that was the only time I saw the ghost cat at that apartment. And actually, I just remembered that just now, just thinking about everything. See, I'm just totally
isn't it funny when you start to talk about stuff that it happens a lot, and sometimes it may not happen until later. Well, just like Will's Dogman story, right?
Yeah.
He kind of just hit him all of a sudden. He's like, holy crap, where'd that come from? Another Whiskey. Had Whiskey been gone for a long time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been, because my mom had that cat years before I was born, but we still the end towards his life. It was out at the old house that I was at. So yeah, he's been gone probably, I don't know, 4 years before that. And
before you saw him at your mom's new place, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what's next. My family owns land up in a half hour, 45 minutes west of Alpena, Michigan, which is north of, or the far north of the Lower Peninsula on Lake Huron, but it's out about west of that. So it's in the woods, on a floodwater area. They have a river dammed off and everything. We go fishing up there. But there's a few things that I've seen back there. One time it was late at night. We had a light on in the kitchen, and I was in the far. There's the living room, and there's the kitchen, and then on the other side of the kitchen there's another bedroom, where I was usually sleeping at. And me and my stepbrother looked out, and there was because I woke him up because I thought I woke up for some reason. I saw I looked out the door, and I saw down the hallway there was a shadow of a hunchback looking thing, kind of short, running down the hallway. And I was like, what in the world is that? And I got my brother, and he saw it, and we were freaking out. We had no idea what it was. Could have been, someone just my dad or whatever, trying to mess with us or something, but I don't know.
Oh my goodness, you hope so, right?
Yeah.
It's bad enough if it's a shadow, but if it's something about it being hunched over, it just adds that layer of creepy in there.
Oh, ugh. Yeah. Yeah, it was really, we saw it, I was like, what in the world is that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So another thing up there was, so we had 2 plots of land. The one, if you're facing towards the trailer, to the right of there, we had a plot of land that was all forest, and then we had a yard in the back, and in the front, or the far back on the right, there was like a kind of like an opening of trees that just never grew trees around there. And there was rings of moss. And one night, me and my aunt looked out the window, and we saw these little orbs. They weren't like, what am I trying to say? Like fireflies. They didn't glow, and they weren't orange. They just were like constantly little, about the size of a ping pong ball, and they were floating around, and they'll jump on the leaf, and they'll go down to where the rings were at, and then they go to the other side, up and down. They're just all over the place. And there's really nothing up there that glows like that other than fireflies, and those definitely weren't fireflies. They were consistently staying lit, and they were white, so they weren't really, I wouldn't really call those fireflies. They're a little bit too big to be one either.
And how long did you see those for?
Oh, we were sitting out there. They were out there for like hours just floating around. And I think what I just came up with is that they're fairies because there was rings of moss in the area that they were at. And rings of moss are fairy rings. Mm-hmm. So I think what I believe is me and my aunt saw fairies that night in the backyard.
What does she think?
That's what she thinks too. So
was it just the one night that you saw these orbs?
Yep, just the one night. And then another time I was in the backyard, and I was just walking back there. I think I was pushing my bike back into the shed, and I looked to my left, and there was a black mass that just took off. Like, I don't think there was anything that fast up there, but it was just like a split second. I just saw like a black mass just run all the way to the back of our property line into the woods, and it disappeared. I don't know if it was a bobcat or not. I don't think bobcats can run that fast, but that's what I...
But that was about the size of it, though.
Yeah, but it was all black, and it just took off. I mean, there's a lot of wildlife up there, but I don't think there's anything that fast, but...
Maybe it was one of the famed Black Panthers or something that are not supposed to be around, right?
Probably. I know we have mountain lions up there, so we do have big cats. Not many yet, but they've been like growing in population up there. There's a kind of like a legend that my grandfather used to tell me about up in the area that was told to him when he was younger. He said that there was creatures that lived in the trees, and the old people or old guys that told him about them, he said they're called Inch Newmans, which is like the name for a mongoose, like the scientific name, but that's what they called them. And he said that they would throw, if you're around them, they would start throwing sticks down at you and stones. And I had a couple of times where we're sitting around the campfire, and all of a sudden you start feeling sticks and stones starting falling from you from the falling towards you from the treetops.
And that was out at that same property.
Yeah.
And I mean, would you get flashlights out and try to see what might be throwing these sticks and things, or?
We tried, but we never got anything. I just remember seeing sticks and stones getting thrown from us from the trees, and we're trying to look up and can't find nothing.
That also seems to tie into maybe some Fae lore, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Because I mean, we're that close to a fairy ring, and I saw them back there, so it could well be that.
Do you have that book, the Fairy Faith in the Celtic Countries? You would love that book. It's got so many different tales, and actually, Joshua Cutchin, his newer book on all of the Fae stuff, Fae lore. Incredible stories. I mean, a lot of them are really freaky, and you're kind of like, I don't know if I want that to happen to me. But yeah. I don't know, when you're talking about the fairy rings and stuff, that's pretty cool that you guys just you saw the orbs and you're like, well, it does seem like it's a fairy ring where things won't grow, and maybe it's more of a basically, for lack of a better term, like a portal for them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they are,
the
fairy rings. I had that Fairy Pukas and Changelings book. That's pretty good. I've gotten through about half of it.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I should send you a list. Pam, you've heard Pam on the show. talk about all of her fae stuff. Of course, she's like actually sees the things, which is not always a pleasant experience for her, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But
I remember that those episodes.
Oh my god, yeah. The ones like up in the tree, and actually, I had an artist. Oh my god, Maddie Victoria. I was like, I know her name. Maddie Victoria sent me a sticker of the drawing that she did. That was the fae in the tree, the female fae. And it's just cool to have people that can actually like draw things and create things, and they hear something on the show, and then you're like, my god, that's what I thought it looked like, and then they create it. It's insane. But yeah, I should share with you the list of the fairy and the fae books that Pam sent to me, and she's so sweet. She even sent me like a horseshoe and a iron horseshoe, iron nail to help to protect against some of the fae that are a little less desirable to have around. Yeah,
I also remember my grandfather getting a description of what the Inch Newmans look like.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
So basically, he said they have a body of a weasel, but a face of a marmoset monkey.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
Nope, that would freak me out. Now, he says that, I mean, he's just familiar with the folklore of it, or he was saying that he's actually seen one of these.
He's never seen them, but it's a story that he heard.
Okay.
Because he used to go fishing with random people all the time, meet up with them, and these old guys told him the story way back when.
Wow.
And we've been going up there for a long time. And he just passed the story down to me and my cousins and stuff and my siblings.
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine just out for a walk or screw it. If you're out there around the campfire and then you get sticks and stones thrown at you, so you shine the light up and there it is. No.
Yeah. No.
If anybody doesn't know what a marmoset monkey looks like, just look it up and then put that face on a weasel. Yeah. I'd be like, I'm out of here. Bye.
Was another thing that happened is so the place is like on a floodwater. So it used to be a river and they dammed it off, and then the whole thing just is I call it a lake 'cause it's big enough to be a lake, but they call it a pond. But well, around the shoreline, it was nighttime when they were getting back. I wasn't on this trip. They were getting back on the pontoon towards shore, and they started seeing all these red glowing eyes all the way down the shoreline and in the woods and stuff, but like by the trees. So
like in the trees or at ground level? At
ground level, like staring out into the lake.
Like basically at them. They were the only ones on the water at the time?
Yeah.
Did they stay in the boat a little extra long?
Knowing my grandfather, he's like, oh, don't worry about it.
Right. He's like, screw it, I'm hungry, we're going in. Oh my god. Well, so I mean, did he say what he thought that was then? It's just more. Is it more? He was
he was like trying to think of like what they could be, and I forget what animal he said. But he was like, there's only like one animal that has eyes like that, and they don't live around here. So who knows what that is?
So it seems like whatever's been going on with you, which has been for basically your whole life since you were 2, has been passed down then, huh?
Yeah, I think so. After my mom lived in that apartment, she moved into this duplex that was on the Maumee River. And so like we had like dock access and everything. We had a boat and all this other fun stuff. My cousin, he would stay over during the summer all the time. We'd go fishing in the morning and stuff. But he one night we woke up. My mom was out. Actually, no, we weren't even sleeping. We were just watching TV or something. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember this stuff. My mom was out, and so to get to my mom's, she had like the loft like on the attic, and to get to her room, she had to go cut through my room. So no one had been there. We started hearing boot stomps, like up above where my mom's loft was at. No one was home, and when we're in the living room, there's no way anyone could sneak past us because you had to walk through the living room to get from the back door, or from the front door you had to walk through the living room. So there's no way anything could have really gotten through to us. That was one of the few things that's happened there.
So you and your cousin are there, and you're supposed to be by yourselves. You hear boot stomps. So how many did you hear?
Not very many. It was just like kind of like it walked across.
Oh gosh. Okay.
And then it stopped, and then that was the end of it.
And did you guys? I mean, did you go investigate, or you're like, okay, we're just gonna act like that didn't happen, go on with our night?
Yeah, we just said we just turned up the TV, and we're like, nope.
Yeah. Big bag of nope. Yeah.
We had a brownout one night, and we were just sitting there. We were playing Monopoly, and we were starting to finally get done with the game. And there was a like this blue orb. It was massive. It came from the dining room and shot right through the living room and went right into my bedroom. Just this, I think it was about the size of like a basketball. It was blue, and it like rushed around the dining room and into my bedroom, and then it was gone.
And who did you see that with?
And my cousin.
Again.
Okay,
your cousin again. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what? So he was there for the boot stomps, and now this orb. I mean, is he at this point kind of used to this stuff because it happens around you, or does he see things, or is he kind of like, what the heck's going on?
He's just like, he's like kind of like, what the heck's going on, you know? Because he's never really seen a whole bunch of that stuff like to himself. Usually it's around me.
Yeah, it sounds as such, right? So it went into your room once again.
Yeah.
Something in your room. Did you guys? Did you even? Are you sleeping in there when your cousin's over, or are you guys sleeping in the living room?
I got a bunk bed in there. So he slept on the bottom. I was on the top. So.
But you slept in there that night when the orb went in there.
Yeah.
Was there anything odd? I mean, or did it smell, or was there any static electricity in the air, or anything you can remember?
No, nothing like that. That's why it was just so weird, because could have been something with the brownout, because the lights were like dim and you couldn't turn TVs on or anything. It was just very low power. But other than that, it could have been something electrical, but I don't think anything other than like ball lightning maybe, which is extremely rare, and very especially rare. Not in Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah. And I don't know, would ball lightning, I guess it's not impossible for it to manifest inside a structure, right? Or is it usually an outdoor rare event? I think I've
heard of it going like through like the windows.
God, that would be freaky, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Not that whatever you saw wasn't. I'm just saying, like, I mean, it just seems like a dangerous situation.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. It could have been ball lightning for all I know. But
when you're talking about the fairy ring, and then you and your aunt seeing the white orbs, that kind of ties in. And surely one person cannot see ball lightning twice in their lifetime. Well, I shouldn't say they can't. I'm just like you said, it is a rare event, even just seeing it once. So
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So that's all I really remember from that place. Not a whole lot's happened there.
I don't know, if I saw a massive blue orb and this boot stomping, that might be enough for me to change addresses.
Well, after what I'll tell you later on, that doesn't seem like a whole lot. But I do remember in that place, downstairs, actually, my mom's friend lived downstairs for a while, her and her daughter, and I guess her daughter was seeing like a lady walking around down there sometimes. So there is something downstairs that they saw. And it was an old duplex too. It was probably older than the house I grew up in originally.
And this duplex is in Toledo as well.
Yeah, Old South End. So it's right down the street from downtown, right on the river. I know a lot of like railroaders used to live in the area, because the railroad station's actually like 10 minutes down the road from there.
So there was a lady walking around that they would see.
Yeah.
Was she in any kind of, sometimes you see the ladies and they have like period clothing, like long dresses up to the neck up to the throat kind of a thing, the covering.
She didn't really ever say anything about it. Just said that she just saw a lady walking around. She never really gave any details about it. All right, so I guess I'll go to the part. So this is going to be kind of telling the whole story about this house, and this is going to lead up to the part with my friend that got black eyes.
Okay, so what house is this?
This is so after my dad and my mom split up. My mom went to the apartment. My dad got remarried and bought this house. And this is still in Toledo. It's actually I've only lived like 10, 15 minutes in any area from where I live currently, so not too far from where I'm at now. Now this house isn't really that old, and all this stuff happened is shortly after, or probably not shortly after, probably like maybe a half a year or so after my dad and his ex-wife got a divorce. Is when this started happening. And for the most part at the time, my dad was not usually home when he got off work. He'd go out with my uncle and trying to get his mind off things. So we weren't I was usually home alone or had friends over or whatever. But how this all started out was I think maybe a sophomore in high school when this started happening. I was sitting at my computer. I was just listening to music, and I was just playing solitaire on my computer, and I heard someone from behind me call my name, like a soft, like feminine voice call my name. And I looked behind me, and it was summertime, and I didn't really get good air conditioning in my room, and it was kind of warm, but it just got super cold. Like I was just freezing, and I looked around and I went downstairs. No one was home. I was figuring I knew my dad wasn't home, and I was the only one there. And I just kind of was like, who knows what it was? Maybe I was just hearing things. And so it didn't happen too much after that until maybe like a week or so after. And then every night I would hear this voice call me from outside my bedroom door. Same voice. Eventually I got to the point where I had to sleep with the TV on with the volume up just to drown it out, because it would just keep calling me, saying my name.
And did you tell your dad about this?
Oh yeah, my whole family knew about it.
What would they say?
They were like, "Oh, you're fine, nothing. It's nothing." Oh, until my cousin Joey heard the voice calling him from upstairs when he was downstairs.
Oh my gosh! So so this thing knows everybody's name and it's using it.
Yeah, and my one friend that had the black eyes, he heard it when he was staying over. He was in my bathroom and he heard it call his name from in the hallway, and he ran back in and he's like, "All right, dude, I heard what you're talking about."
So it just says your name once. It'll just say like, is it breathy? Yeah. Is it like Branden?
It's like Branden.
No.
Branden.
Oh, it's a couple of times.
Oh, it's over and over again. It won't stop.
Oh, geez.
And this one night, we decided to get some EVP, which we did. I don't have it anymore. It was on an old cell phone, which long is gone now. It's an old flip phone.
Yeah.
But we were getting some EVP on it. We had the lights off, and we're talking to it. And out of nowhere, my friend Jonah, who's the one that is going to have this problem, he was staring at this red light that was on my DVD player. Mm-hmm. And he was just like fixed on it. And I was like, "Jonah, you all right?" And he just wouldn't stop. And I turned the lights on. His eyes were completely black. And then he started having a seizure. Oh. And so I had to like drag him and put him on my recliner and like hold him up. And then he finally calmed down. His eyes like snapped back. And he was like, what happened? I was like, "Dude, your eyes just turned black and glossy. And then you started having a seizure."
Like full on black, like the entire thing.
Yeah, like full on black.
And has he ever had a seizure before that time?
No, never had a history of seizures.
What about after that?
Nope, nothing after that either.
And that was when you guys were trying to capture this voice on EVP, which you said you did get EVPs of this thing.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we did get EVPs on this one. Oh. I forget exactly what it said, but I had it, but that phone broke, and back then you couldn't really take files off your phone very easily.
No, you couldn't. No. So you guys were asking it specific questions, like probably who are you? What are you doing here? Like you would ask a Ouija board or something, right?
Yeah, and it would just it was saying stuff.
But you would only hear it maybe like live, or would you have to play back the EVP?
I would have to play back the EVP, but when it was calling my name, I would hear it live. Yeah. It was just constantly over and over again.
Isn't that strange that it has enough, I guess, well, they say energy. It had enough energy to say you guys' names, but then it didn't have it to, actually formulate an entire answer to a question, right?
That's why I think there's multiple things going on in that place. So...
it does seem, though, Branden, that you are the common denominator, though, right? I mean...
Yeah, it seems like that.
Like you're kind of a weather vane for this kind of a thing, some kind of a lightning rod.
Yeah, that's why I definitely think that too.
So what did Jonah say? I mean, he wakes up and he probably doesn't even know what the heck's going on. Good for him, probably.
Yeah, he didn't even. He had no recollection of what happened. No idea. He was just blacked and then came back.
So you see the black eyes. And then his eyes likely shut because he's having a seizure. How long does the seizure last?
It was only a couple, like a minute or so, if that.
Probably it was just eternity to you. You're freaking out, probably, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I sat him down, and then he was just sitting there like shaking. And then I got him, and then he kind of calmed down.
And then by the time he comes out of it after the minute, his eyes are back to normal.
Yeah.
I can't imagine seeing something like that. I'd be like, dude, do you know what your eyes just look like?
He also has seen stuff before at different other than me, so he's sensitive too to this stuff.
What kind of stuff has he seen then?
I honestly don't remember. I know he's seen stuff at our one of our other friend's house at the time. So he's seen stuff there, which my other friend saw stuff at that house too, and we've had some weird stuff happen at that place. But he's mostly, I forget exactly what all he's seen, but it's mostly at his house and then at our other friend's house.
Maybe like more ghostly type stuff, or like shadow people.
Mostly ghosts.
Yeah, always in the house, right? They got to come into your house. Well, it's always in your room. Forget the whole house. It's like, oh, Branden's room. There we go, party central. God, I'd be like, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, and I'd have friends over, and my one friend Justin said that he got grabbed at night, like something grabbed his ankle and yanked on it.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
So the one part that really messed me up was one night whatever it was, that voice spirit would not stop saying my name, and it was getting louder too, and at this point, I'm just trying to say some kind of prayer or something like that or whatever. Eventually, I called my friend Eric, and I'm downstairs in the living room just trying to get away from it, but he keeps following me. It started following me downstairs too. I called him, and he's just talking me through. He's like, all right, man, he's got to calm down. But the next day, we were talking about it. He was like, you didn't have the TV on in the background when you're there. I'm like, no, I didn't have anything on. I was down in the living room. I'm just trying to talk to you and just trying to stay calm. And he heard something whispering into the phone itself, on top of my voice.
And when you're talking to Eric, you actually couldn't hear it anymore, and that's probably why you wanted to stay on the phone. But he could still hear it?
Yeah, but I couldn't hear it really.
So that only happened one night, to where this entity or being is calling your name. Usually it's only a few times over and over. You turn the TV on, you go back to sleep. But this night, it just kept going and going, and it even followed you downstairs.
Yes. And that's
is this now? Maybe I lost track, but is this around the same time that the incident with Jonah happened with the black eyes, when you guys were kind of maybe trying to engage it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Same time. Because it happened. It was, honestly, I lost track of how long it actually took.
Yeah.
But so because this is all in the same house. When I was sleeping with the TV on, I had an old TV that I didn't have a remote for, and I got up and I was going to change the channel to something else, and I look over in my doorway and I see this little boy in overalls standing in front of the doorway, and I just looked up at him. I didn't feel any negative energy from him, and I was like, hey, how are you? And he looked up at me and then turned around and walked through the door.
So you didn't feel any negative energy. With you saying, hello, how are you, was it just a natural reaction, or you hadn't really processed what you were looking at, or you were really trying to engage what you knew to be like a spirit?
I was trying to talk to it, engage with it, because at that time I'm kind of desensitized.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're like, I'm accepting of what I've seen, so may as well just talk to them and see what's up. So again, you only saw the kid in the overalls the one time?
The one time, but here's the thing. So my mom and my stepdad they got married and had a kid. Well, my mom at the time didn't have a washing machine at her house. It broke down. She was living at that duplex. So she came over, and I was at school. My little brother, he has autism. My mom's downstairs on my dad's computer waiting for her laundry to get done. And he runs down there and says, "Hey, Mom, I'm playing with the little boy in the dining room."
Oh, gosh.
And my mom calls me up later that day. She says, "So, your brother just told me something about a little boy in the dining room. I never told anyone about this little boy in my room." And I was like, "Yeah, not too long ago, I saw a little boy in my bedroom, and he turned around and walked through the doorway after I tried saying hi to it."
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I've heard tales of kids that have autism or some other what we as people would call a disability, but it seems to open them up to other abilities, right? Like a lot of these people are very sensitive to things like this. So he might have as well been playing with the same kid in the overalls, right?
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
But you never got any maybe details about what he was wearing?
Oh, no. It was just, oh, it's just a little boy. And I have a story a little bit later on I'll tell you about my brother, but I'm going to finish up a couple of these that happened at this house still. So way before all this happened, and I'll go to like the scariest thing, I'll say that to the last. Me and my cousin Andy, the one that we saw the stuff at the duplex on the river, we just got to my house. My dad gets out of the car, walks inside. Me walk out. We look up in the sky, and there's this big black triangle floating overhead, and each point had a light, and then it had pulsating lights going from each point. And it was just quiet and slow moving, and it just passed over us and then left.
Now, was it quiet or was it silent?
It was silent. There was no sound. It was just hovering across, and it was gone. Because
I was wondering if something like this was coming, to be honest with you. And I hate to be that person, but I have to. Yeah. All the stories I've heard and the encounters that I've taken down, even just for the show, not even mentioning the emails, but
right.
Early on when we were talking, you mentioned sinus problems.
Yes.
Now, I'm not trying to get all like, the fourth kind and movie on it or anything like that. I'm not trying to say that, but, you've mentioned orbs and you've mentioned seeing and hearing things in your home that are connected to you, specifically to you, especially. Mm-hmm. And now I hear the big black triangle. And I mean, there might be more coming. I don't want to like interrupt anything or take you off track, because I know we're going chronological, which I love. Mm-hmm. But now I'm kind of going, oh my God, Branden mentioned sinus problems and science problems. We all have science problems, sinus problems, and then all of these other experiences. So I'm kind of going, my God, like, is any of this stuff like screen memories or anything like that? Like if we're really going like far left, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So anyhow, okay. So everybody just remember what Branden mentioned about the sinus problems, because now I'm kind of going, well, what in the hell? Okay. So big black triangle, it's silent. It's above your mom's duplex, right?
No, this is
or your dad's place.
My dad's house.
Okay.
The one that happened with all the voices later on. This is way before all that stuff happened.
Okay.
I was probably in like junior high, I think, when this happened.
Oh.
So everything that happened after this, that was all in high school that I told you about.
Okay. All right. So we went a little bit off. Okay. So junior high, you saw the big black silent triangle. And again, did you only see the triangle the one time?
That was the only time I've seen it.
See, and if we're assuming that these things are so advanced, right? And if they can, in fact, make screen memories or make you see an owl when it's supposed to be an alien, are they letting you see the craft the one time just to see what happens? Or, what are we going off of there?
Yeah, I don't know. Because that's the only time I've actually ever seen anything like UFO related or anything like that.
So, but when you see that, aren't you kind of going, oh my God, does this mean like something else for me personally,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I just saw it, I was like, me and my cousin were just awestruck. We just looked at each other and looked back at it, and we're just like, what?
Of course, I have to remember, like you said, a lot of what happened, you've already told us happened, this happened prior to that, so I have to keep that in mind. So, okay, and maybe if you want, don't answer this question yet and finish what you need to finish, but now, in 2019, are you looking back going, oh my God, like, maybe it is all tied into the same thing. So maybe we'll save that. It's up to you. I know you have a few other things to share.
Yeah. Well, we can save that to the end.
Okay.
So the last thing I want to say about this house is one morning I woke up late for school, and I told my dad, I was like, hey, I'm just going to stay home today. Because I had a couple lates in that semester, so I didn't want to get in-school suspension. So he was like, okay, you can just take off sick. I was like, cool. So I stayed home, and I had my Xbox on, the original one. I had music playing off of it through my TV, and I fell back asleep. I was on my back, and I wake up, and I had the sleep paralysis. The first time I've ever had it. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking around, and out of nowhere I see, it was like a tear in the air, and it looked like TV static. And all my posters ripped off the walls, and it was like a whirlwind. And I saw this shadow being climb out of it and come towards they're trying to come towards me, and everything's just whipping around the room, and I'm just sitting there, and I close my eyes real quick, and I'm trying to shake my feet to get them to move, and I finally get out of it, and I shoot straight up, and everything smacks the walls, and then I hear a clash, kind of like exploding head syndrome, and then I'm just like, what in the hell just happened?
So your posters actually did come off the wall, or you just imagined that?
I saw them smack against the wall back where they were.
And what about the shadow being? Because it came out, but then once you kind of break out of the sleep paralysis, where's the shadow being? He went back to where he came from?
Yeah, because there was a portal that opened up in the foot of my bed where he's climbing out of.
That's interesting that you kind of instinctually knew how to get out of the sleep paralysis, because that's something I've heard over and over. Is you have to just focus on moving a pinky or moving your big toe or something, and then you can actually break free of that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was trying to move something. I was just concentrating on one thing just to snap out of it.
Do you still get sleep paralysis?
Very rarely anymore, but sometimes I do, which I'll go into that later for the house I'm currently in, because I've seen a few things here, not much. That's it for that house. So next one I should go into, I'll go into where I used to work. Now I'm in the trades, but for about 2 years now. But before that, I was working at this warehouse. It was a supply warehouse for heating and air supplies. And the building was an old slaughterhouse from the late 1800s.
Oh, boy.
North end of Toledo, so it's pretty old over there.
Yeah.
And everything was it still looked like how it did back then. Just shelves were built up around certain areas. But I was pulling some transfers to go out, and I was in this room getting my order ready. And there's another room right next to it, which is was boarded off by plywood, and I'm here late at night. It was 6:30. No one else is in the building, and I was just trying to finish stuff up. I heard people talking in that room next door, and they're it sounded like a conversation, important conversation, they're people are talking about something. I couldn't really picture or remember exactly what, and even at the time I didn't really hear what they're talking about. I was I heard it, I was listening for a second, and then I ran out of there, finished what I was doing, and left.
I don't blame you.
there's a basement to this place, and this basement's absolutely creepy. There's a part of it that is slightly renovated for classrooms, for refrigeration, and there's another part that's completely just dilapidated. Like, there's still old machinery, steam machinery down there, and like meat hook hangers.
Oh, from the Slaughterhouse days.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And the bathroom was down there, and I come out
of
of the bathroom.
It is. It has to be the.
Oh yeah.
You have to go down there for
the
some. Oh god.
I come out of the bathroom. There's like a long hallway, and at the end of that hallway opens up, and then to the right there's the stairs that go up, and then to the left there's like a classroom. I looked over. At the corner of my eye, I saw like someone standing there, and I look over, and there's just a white man, like all white, standing there. I look at him, and I'm like, nope, and I ran up those stairs. And ever since then, when I started going down there, I'd run in the bathroom, run out, done.
You mean like he's all white, like you can't really make out features, like he's almost like white glowing? Yeah,
essentially.
Oh gosh.
And I was like, and then so it kind of confirmed this one, because a lot of my experiences have confirmations to.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know I'm not crazy. Because sometimes, like, when back at the old house, I was like, man, am I going crazy? And then
Yeah.
my cousin's like, well, I heard that too, and I'm like, okay, there we go. I'm not crazy.
Like, thank goodness.
And then my friends heard it, and so I was like, okay. These plumbers came in, or a regular customer. He told us a story of what happened to him when he was down in the bathroom. So he was in the stall, and he heard someone cough, and when you look under, you can see if anyone's there, like feet. He looked under there, no one was there. And he said he just got up, ran up, and left.
He's like, I'm not even done, but I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh my god, no.
Oh, the way he said it, oh my gosh, it was super funny.
I bet. One of the most important things for your home is to feel safe, day and night. And honestly, there are dozens of words for fear. We deal with that a lot here on Into the Fray. So whether you want to call it alarm, the willies, the heebie-jeebies, or panic, you should feel none of those things in your home. So why not go with the exceptional home security company to stop fear right at your front door? Simply Safe is home security that knows it feels good to fear less. This is award-winning 24/7 protection that protects your home through it all, through blizzards, blackouts, and burglars. Simply Safe has won awards from all the tech experts that count. The Verge calls it the best home security. It's won Reader's Choice from PC Magazine, and it's a 2-time winner of CNET Editor's Choice and Wirecutter Top Pick. Simply Safe has no contract, no hidden fees, and no gotchas. And they always keep prices fair and honest. Thanks to Simply Safe, fear has no place in a place like home. Try Simply Safe with free shipping and free returns. You'll also get a 60-day risk-free trial. Order now and have your home protected within a week. Go to simplysafe.com/fray to get started today. That's simplysafe.com/fray. Be sure to go there so they know Shannon sent you. simplysafe.com/fray.
So that's really all I remember from that place. So my next thing is friends' houses and places I've traveled to. I guess I'll start with this one. This one's fairly recent. So I think it was last year, maybe. I was looking at this house down the street from my house, or where I live now. I was looking to buy it, and my mom was in town, and my brother, and we all went to go look at this house. But my dad was there. We're all looking at it because they all wanted to see it. I have another brother. Me and him he's a year younger than me. He was going to move in with me. So I was taking a video of the place after we all did a walkthrough. So everyone else was outside, and I was taking a video, and I went down the basement, and I'm looking around, and I walked into it was kind of like you could kind of walk around like a big rectangle in this basement. I walked into the right at the bottom of the stairs. I took a right. There's a laundry room. I walked through there, and I saw a white figure walk straight through, across, and into the wall. And I looked over, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I see you." And I walk upstairs. I'm just like staying calm about it. I didn't really care. And I walked upstairs, and I told him, I was like, "Yep, I just saw a ghost. We're gonna have EVP soon. I can guarantee it. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be on this tape." But before all that, when we walked in there, my youngest brother with autism, we walk in there. He's like, "Branden, we need to get out of here. We have there's spirits in here. We need to get out." And he has this way of talking that's absolutely the funniest thing ever. The way he like words things, but
just really like, to the point, right?
Yeah,
can't like, mistake it.
He's like, "Branden, there's spirits here. We gotta go. We gotta get out of here. Mom, let's get out of here." And I was like, "Okay, it's all right. We're fine." And he's like, "No, we gotta get out of here." And sure enough, I saw that thing downstairs, and I got I watched. I still had the video. It's on my computer somewhere. I watched the video, and I walked down there, and I started hearing someone saying like, he's like, "Hey," like when I was walking through there, and then like kind of like muffled, and then that was it. So I heard like a constant, "Hey." Everyone else, this is in the back of the house, in the basement. Everyone else was out in the front by the street, waiting for me to get done with the video. So there's no one else in the house.
And you can actually hear that on the video?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to hear that video.
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you.
Thank you. That'd be awesome. Oh, so are you of the mind though that if you go into any property, whether it's just a visit or to buy, like you were saying you were kind of looking to buy this property, that it sounds like you're sensitive enough to where anything is going to make contact with you?
It seems like that, because I've had many instances where this stuff is come at me and just shown itself, or I can just see it or sense it.
So can your brother though too?
Yeah.
He's like, "We got to get out of here. That we are not alone," right?
Yeah. He was just like, "All right, Branden, we got to get out of here, Mom. Let's go."
So you did not end up buying that house because of that, or I mean, not to be too personal, but was that a factor in it?
Oh no, I was going to buy it regardless, but it was cash only, so it was such a cheap house, but it was like $12,000, but I didn't have enough money to save up. I was just going to get like a personal loan on it, and they're like, no, we can't give you that much. I was like, okay.
Might have worked out for the best, right?
Oh yeah, but it wouldn't really bother me, I don't think. It didn't seem that bad.
Yeah.
But then again, I say that now. This is a few years ago, probably about 5 years ago. We went to a Christmas party at my friend Bree's house, and I felt really off there when I walked in. Like something didn't feel right. It was in the old West End of Toledo, so it was these old Victorian houses. They're like, basically, Old West End is the largest collection of Victorian houses east of the Mississippi.
And how old are these houses, roundabout?
1800s.
Oh.
So they're old. They're actual Victorians. They're big, like ornate and everything. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't feel right being there. And I messaged her. I was like, she's like, "Is there anything like weird going on in your duplex?" She's like, "Well, we did use an Ouija board. Then we started seeing this man in front of our doorways while we're sleeping at night." And I was like, "Okay."
You're like, you were using a Ouija board. Great.
Yep. I was like, well, I sensed something weird there, so.
So, for you, I mean, a Ouija board is something that someone like me, who almost never has any experiences, would use. But for you, have you ever personally used a Ouija board?
I did when I was younger, but I never really experienced it other than my dad taking magnets and messing with us.
Yeah.
So other than that, no, I never. My one friend that lived in Maumee, Ohio, which is a suburb next to us, him and his friends used it once, and they saw a cloaked person up on top of the roof after they got done using it. Oh, and then it followed them to another house too. They said it was up in the trees.
Oh.
Yeah, that one was really messed up. But another thing, in high school, me and my friends, we go ghost hunting. And we go to this woods out probably about half hour southeast of here, which I was just there actually last night. We're trying to watch the Northern Lights. They're supposed to be viewable from where we're at. But we went out there, and this place is like real creepy. It's basically out in the middle of the country. So there's like cornfields everywhere, but there's this big patch of woods, and the trees actually curve up and around the road. And supposedly the story behind it is there was a bus driver with kids, and he got real mad and supposedly crashed the bus into the woods, killing everybody. And there used to be a bus actually in the middle of the woods. So,
oh my God! So that might be a true story and not some kind of an urban legend.
Yeah.
Was it in the papers or anything?
I never actually did that much research, so I'm guessing it's an urban legend. But
maybe they found the bus was just abandoned and they tied the story to it. Yeah. Yeah,
but nonetheless, going there at night is still very creepy because there's no lights, and especially on a full moon.
Yeah.
And then another one of our trips, we used to go to this place called Gibbs Bridge. Supposedly, if you turn there's a house there that, like, I guess someone, like, the dad killed their kid or something and went and had and if you're out there, like, the guy, and you turn your car off and put the keys on the top, the guy will come out with a shotgun chasing after you or something like that.
But then by the time you cross the bridge, you turn around and he's gone?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah.
We went there one night, but we saw people there before we got there. So we were like, we'll just mess with them. So my buddy turned off all his lights, and he parked on the opposite side of the bridge, like off to the side, and they stopped, they did the little thing, and my friend took his hazards and his brights, flicking them on and off to his windshield wipers, and started going nuts with everything. And then we took off, and then the car started chasing us. And we're on this high-speed chase, like,
that's not good.
Out in the middle of the boonies out in, like, Sylvania, Ohio, like, out past there, and it was, like, just chasing us everywhere. And we finally got him off of us, but
that turned into not what you wanted, right? You're like, we're supposed to be having the fun here.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So that happened. Then we used to go, and I remember going here as a kid. It's a place called Volmers Park. It's like a small little amusement park. If you take Maumee River and you take it southwest, follow it all the way down, it's on the river. And I remember coming here as a kid a few times. But we went there. This is when we're in high school, so it's along those same trips. Basically, the whole place was still up, and you could we walked around there. But the first night we went there, we walked across this old wooden walk bridge, and it was kind of crooked, and it had like holes in there in the ceiling and everything, and had the full moon shining through it, and it was just really eerie just on itself. But we're just in there, we're just messing around. We went to this ballroom above the restaurant. You can walk upstairs to the ballroom, and there's still a piano up there, and my friend was playing the piano, but it was so out of tune. And whatever he was playing just sounded really creepy. And we were walking around there and just messing around. Never really heard anything or seen anything, but other than when we were downstairs, we started hearing like this growl, like from outside in the bushes, like freaking out. Like, what in the world is that? It sounded like kind of like like a bear almost, but there's no bears around here.
Is it supposed to be tied into something? I mean, is there legends around that area?
No legends. We just wanted to go there and just get creeped out by an old amusement park. But
something was there, right?
Yeah, something. But it could easily been an animal. But that was just one of our unique ghost adventures.
Just a normal animal but you're already creeped out, so you tie it into something else.
Yeah, and then this happened probably was it like 2012-ish. My friend Justin, he lived down the street from me at the time. He would tell me he'd have these nightmares where something would grab him, drag him down in the crawl space under his house, and just drag him by his heels and not let go. And he would tell me about this, and he said that there was like, his dad told him that there was he said, don't ever go down that crawl space, no matter what. He told him and his sister that. And he eventually told his dad, he was like, he's like, Dad, is there anything like weird with this house or anything? And his dad told him, he was like, shh, be quiet. I don't want your sister to get scared. So my friend was like at wit's end with this, and he called me over. And at the time I was a born again Christian, so he always like called me for things like this. And he was like, "Do you need to come over here? This thing is really this is really creeping me out over here. I can't take it anymore." Because things would move, and he would hear stuff and hear people call him, and he said it was all tied into the downstairs bathroom in the Crawlspace. And so I went over there, and his dog came up to me, and his dog knew me, and I was petting his dog and everything, and we're just sitting there talking. And then I was like, all right, let's get to business. Let's see what's going on. So he walked back into his bathroom, and I was like, all right, so this is it right here? And he's like, yeah, but I'm not going in that bathroom while you're opening that. And I was like, all right. So I opened it up, and I put my head down there. I didn't see anything, but I heard like something speaking like something like Latin sounding, and really weird. And I closed it real quick. I was like, dude, there's something nasty down there. And he was like, are you serious? I'm like, dude, it started speaking Latin or something to me. And I opened it up again, and I said like something in Jesus' name, leave this place. And all of a sudden you hear like a screech and something shuffle and smack the other side of the crawl space. And then I closed it, and I'm like, well, let's go over here and let's pray about it and everything. But I was walking out towards the living room. His dog was looking behind me, growling, and like inching me, trying to get me out of the house. And once I got out of the house and I was on the porch, dog was fine. It was jumping on me, licking me and everything. But when I walked inside, it did the same thing. So I sat on the couch, and we started praying about it. And the dog jumped up and laid its head on my lap. And when I stopped praying, it got up and was like, get out. You need to leave. So after that, I left. But after that, my friend never had any experiences other than that.
So obviously when you're 2, you're not going to be very religious. But at the time, were your parents really religious to where maybe it would make you a target? I mean, they would use you to get to them kind of a thing?
No one really in my immediate family was ever really religious. When it went back then, I like ended high school, and a few years after I started going to church and stuff. But other than that, no one in my family is really, really religious.
What about, Branden, the notion that people with certain blood types are more apt to have these experiences? You know, I hear about Rh negative blood.
I never heard about that.
Yeah. People with Rh negative are supposed to have more experiences. And in fact, Nick Redfern did an entire book about that. And not that I'm trying to be like, you need to find out your blood type and be all personal about it, but that's another aspect of it that is at least interesting.
You know, I think next time I get my blood drawn, I'm going to ask him to tell me what that is.
Yeah,
I'd have no idea.
Yeah, I don't even remember my own, so it's not something like, oh my God, you don't know your blood type? It's very normal to not. It's, just one of those things. But yeah, Rh negative blood. And in fact, it's something you can Google as far as paranormal and strange experiences go.
Let me write that down real quick.
Yeah.
Was it, you said RH?
RH negative.
Negative.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Nick Redfern, who writes, he's prolific in his writing. He's written a ton of books. He's written an entire book all about that. Yeah, let me know what you find out. It doesn't have to be for the show, of course. It can be between us, but I'd be interested to know. But that being said, I've talked to plenty of people that have had experiences like you have, like over a lifetime, and they're like, no, I'm like A positive, whatever, and they're not Rh negative. So it's not always an end all be all, but it's just another aspect of it.
I'm definitely going to look into that. All right, so after that, probably like a year or so after, me and my one buddy, we decided to go pick up our other friend. He lives up in Michigan, about, probably a half hour from where I'm at now. And we go pick him up. We're like, oh, dude, let's go ghost hunting up here. So my one friend that's in the area, he's like, all right, let's go to Ghost Trestle. And supposedly there was you can see like old railroaders holding lanterns walking down, but we didn't see anything there. So we went to another house. This is actually a funny story. Didn't see anything, but I think you'll find it kind of hilarious. So we went to another place, and it's an old farmhouse, and this one's pretty creepy. And I was like, oh, let's just go in. So we got in, and we met up with, I guess he had mutual friends with our one friend we picked up from the area. And he was like, oh, we need to go to Adrian, Michigan, and go to the Hunt Street house. And I was like, okay, let's go there. And we went inside, and I was like, I was like, man, I should have better judgment. It was in the middle of a neighborhood, and it was a vacant house. We went in there, and it was definitely vacant. There was garbage bags everywhere full of stuff, and it smelled really bad in there. But we're looking around, supposedly it's haunted. And I walk out, go out to my car real quick, and I walk back in to get them when I go, let's get out of here. So we walk out, light shines in my face, freeze. And I was like, oh no. Dang it. So we get held up there. The one kid that we met up with, he got stuck in the basement because there's so much trash on the stairs. One of the other police officer goes in there, rams open the door, pulls him out, and manhandles him. And the kid had like a buck knife, a country kid, had a buck knife attached to his hip.
Oh boy.
And it fell out. Oh. Police was like, "You pulling a knife out on me?" And he was like, No. And so police officer grabs him, pulls him into the cop car, and all you hear is the kid screaming, "Oh, help me, get me out of here." And me and my other friends are just laughing with the other police officer. And he's like, we would let you guys off free if it wasn't for that kid. And I'm like, oh dang it. So
always that one friend, right?
Luckily, they only gave us a ticket for nighttime trespass and not breaking and entering.
You guys literally went on to Niebolt Street from it. You literally found the house from it, and you're like, we're just going to go check this out really quickly. Don't mind us.
Yep. Oh, man. Yeah, that story, that one was hilarious. I mean, I didn't like it because I had to pay a big fine, but
oh god,
still, it was funny.
Yeah, trespassing, folks, it's no joke. Like if you think, I won't be fine, no, it'll hit you where it hurts, and that is your pocketbook.
Oh yeah, yes. Or it could have been worse, but luckily the police were being kind to us that day.
They seem pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the last thing I have on my list from friend's house. So this is actually, was it over Christmas actually? Because my one friend, he lives in this loft right by downtown, and really not. It's an old building. I don't know exact age, but you walk in and you walk up these stairs, and it's just the second floor is his and the third floor is his. But the second floor is all decked out. He has like a living room area, and he has a spot for his tattooing and his art and everything. He travels the country doing tattoos. And he was telling me one day that him and his friends were, I forget, they were playing some like Quiplash or something on their TV or something like that. And my one friend was just like recording it and laughing. And he got an EVP of someone, like a girl's voice, like right behind him. And it freaked him out because he also heard it. And so later on, my mom goes there to get a tattoo from him while she was in town. And she's sitting there getting her tattoo, and she's like, there's a woman over there by that pillar. And my mom doesn't really say anything like this usually. And Aaron's like, what? And he's like, and Aaron told the story about what he heard. And so I was like, Aaron, do you want me to do I do the crystal pendulums? I was like, do you want me to scry and see if she says anything? And he's like, no. And I'm like, trust me, it's not gonna be bad. I'll make sure that she'll keep an eye on the place or whatever. And he's like, okay, fine. So I laid out a crystal grid and I started doing my scrying, and I asked it the question. It moves accordingly after I said it, and we're asking it questions, and come to find out it was a girl that lived in there at one point in time, and I asked her if she liked what Aaron was doing with his art and stuff in the place, and she said she really liked it. And I asked her, I was like, will you keep an eye on everyone here, make sure no negativity comes in, and harms anybody that's here. And she said she will. And so my friend felt pretty comfortable after that. He was like, well, I'm actually glad that you did that. So now I feel a little bit safer in here.
Evil, yeah.
So
I mean, that's just as bad as feeling uncomfortable in your own home. So if you can kind of allay any fears, that's always a good thing, right?
Yeah. That's all I have written down for like friends and traveling and stuff like that. So I guess I'll go to my aunt's house. So my Aunt Rhonda and my cousin Joey, which I said that heard the voices before, and my older cousin Dennis, they all had weird stuff going on there, and I've also felt uneasy being in certain parts of the house. But my cousin Joey and my aunt, and this is pretty recent too, they would see stuff, and Joey would hear people talking or trying to talk, like saying his name in the hallway. I felt really uneasy in that hallway too. Like I'll see like the door will just like kind of like swing back and forth on its own, and it's kind of like a heavy oak door. And then
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Where is your aunt's house? Is this in the same area?
Yeah, same area. Probably like 10 minutes from where I live.
Okay,
right.
Cool.
Yeah, me and my immediate family live in the same side of town, so.
Good thing you like your family, huh?
Oh yeah, they're very very tight knit. My cousin, when he still lived there, my older cousin Dennis, when he still lived there, he had the loft upstairs, and I used to just not like going up there by myself. I'd feel like something was sitting there watching me, like around the corner. My cousin didn't really have a problem with it, but obviously because he stayed up there all the time. But he said that, and I actually just found out about this over Christmas, or was it last Christmas? We're talking about all this, and he said that he's like, yeah, I used to have a shadow buddy in my room. He'd be up in the corner, and he would slowly go down the top of the ceiling, and he'd come down and all around. And his girlfriend at the time, now his wife, said one night he told her, "You see up there in the corner?" And she saw it too, and he was like, "That's my shadow buddy." Oh. He just crawls around the ceiling. So he saw stuff there. Yeah, and then my aunt and my cousin Joey, they've been seeing like, I don't know about recently because I haven't heard much. They haven't really said much about it, but they used to see UFOs a lot, weird lights in the sky, and my aunt would have a lot of like we see like 11:11 or 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock.
Synchronicity stuff.
Yeah, synchronicity. She would see a lot of stuff like that, along with UFOs and stuff. Same with my cousin. So they were like started getting into like UFO and like researching it and everything because they kept seeing all this weird stuff because of that. So I'm not sure what. Maybe it has to do with something with UFOs with them.
See, that's where it all gets really muddy, right? And
yeah.
And again, this is kind of my closing question to you, and you don't have to answer it yet because, like you said, we should wait. But now your aunt and Joey are seeing this plus the other thing, so it's kind of one of those things where you go, well, hang on, because we've got phantom voices, we've got shadow people, we've got phantom animals for you at least, and all these other things, and ghosts, the quintessential ghost or phantom apparition. But then you have UFOs and orbs.
Yeah.
So then you go, well, hang on, how in the world does all of that tie in? It must somehow.
Right. Yeah, I never really actually thought of it putting those two and two together like that. Probably because I saw more ghost stuff than UFO stuff in my life, but
I mean, for you to see orbs plus, not to assume, because we also did mention the fact that orbs might be tied into FRAY, right?
Yes.
But then again, you did see the black triangle. So, where does the line get blurred between an orb being a FRAY or an elemental and being tied in more with a UFO?
Yeah. Maybe they're from, similar planes, because I believe that I kind of have the Norse mythology kind of viewpoint of multiple dimensions connected by a life tree. Now, I don't believe that there's just 9, which is in the North belief or Norse belief. I believe there's more than that. That's just what's been documented, because a lot of the history of the religions of old Scandinavia and Germany was kind of lost. It wasn't really documented all that well. Just a few things.
Well, and see, it's really interesting to me, and that's why I kept saying through the interview, you would say, well, I saw this, I saw this, I saw this. And I'm like, okay, did you see it again? And you're like, no. And to me, that's not all that strange. I mean, it's strange that you've seen this many things and then maybe not seen X amount of things again. But for me, I've only seen the shadow people the one time. Yeah. But that's all it took, of course. Now I do what I do, and I'm obsessed with it, and I keep collecting stories, and it's set me on this path. But I don't discount what you're saying just because I saw the white dog the one time, and I saw the lady the one time, and the little boy the one time. Like, I don't automatically just throw that out. It is strange, but you can't just throw everything out just because you've seen it just one time, because I know what the hell I saw. So
yeah, with another, you just remind me about the lady in white. I actually written it down on my old notes, and I rewrote it, and I just completely put it off of this one. When I was at that old house with all the voices and stuff, I stayed up all night one night, freaking out about it, because it was just driving me nuts, and I had my door open, and it was like 6:37 in the morning, and I saw a lady in white walk across my doorway and into the hallway.
That's really strange. As you said that, I heard like a squeak, like a ring.
Oh yeah, that was my girlfriend closing the door.
It was a perfect timing. It was.
I know.
Yeah, it was absolutely perfect. I don't know if you heard that, but listening back, it's going to sound really cool. So thank you to your girlfriend. It was perfect timing. But I mean, looking back at all of this stuff, and I kind of already hinted at this, but I mean, you said you believe in the Norse mythology, and I totally get that. But is this something that happens so often for you that, in your current home, do you and your girlfriend see things? I mean, is this something that you're kind of like waiting for?
Actually, I do have a small list of stuff that happened here. Now, things don't happen really a whole lot here, but I do believe that there is a sort of house spirit, like a brownie or something of the sort. When I first found out about this, because I never really had anything happen here, but first time, this was, still, we moved into this house when I was like a senior in high school, junior year, senior. I think I was a senior in high school. But I was sleeping in my room, and my foot on my bed is by the door, and I wake up, or I think I'm waking up, but it's more like I used to do astral projection when I was younger too, or tried to, and I only made it a little bit further. But this one, I actually came up from my body, I like lifted up like feet up in the air, and I was like kind of like aimed down, and my door was opened, and I saw a like a hunched over, like kind of bluish, grayish colored creature, and he looked up on me. He had no hair or anything. He was bald. He just looked up at me, and then I remember like my mouth opening really big. This is why I think it was astral projection. And I scream, and then I slowly fold down, and then I wake up. So I'm not sure. That could be just like another dream, but
right.
I've also did astral projection before, and I can lucid dream.
Is that something that you actually trained yourself to do, or you feel like it was like innate within yourself to do that?
Years ago, when I was in junior high, I trained myself to do it. I never really got that far. I just did it like a few times, and like in my bunk. I was in my bunk bed, top bunk, and I'd reach the top of the ceiling, which is probably about 4 feet, and then back down.
Now, why would you want now? Being that age, the words astral projection is probably not in the lexicon of most junior high kids. So why would you want to do such a thing?
I mean, I've been into this kind of stuff for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, considering what you've been through, right?
Yeah. I would, in elementary school, I would get the books on like Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster and ghosts and more scary stories or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated with like folklore and like Bigfoot and cryptids, all that other stuff, UFOs. Just I couldn't get enough of that. I'd watch the ghost shows all the time just because I wanted to learn more. And then once I was in junior high, I got more into being able to use like the internet and everything. And I was researching like Wicca and stuff like that, and which I follow Wicca and pagan beliefs now. I was researching, like I found out astral projection, and I was like, I'm gonna try this. And so I read some articles about it online, and then I just put it into practice before bed, and then I would just sit there and meditate and try it, and then eventually I succeeded a few times, but never got far enough to actually separate too far from my body, just a few feet.
Now, I know that being a Wiccan or a pagan might be very misunderstood, much like being, honestly, a Satanist. Yes. I think they're very misunderstood, right? So I know earlier in the interview, and I don't want to get really deep in religion or anything. That I don't really go down that path really on this show. Religion and politics, it's very muddy waters. But earlier in the show, you did mention that you were a born-again Christian at some point, and now you say you're Wiccan and more of the pagan side of it. So do you think that fits better with, just who you are personally? Yeah,
this is actually a pretty cool story that I'm going to tie in with this. So I started stepping away from my Christian faith. And I just started. I was kind of scared at first because I just didn't feel like I clicked with it like I used to. It just didn't feel like it fit with me as I got older. And when was it, like 4 years ago? My mom found her birth parents. So my mom was adopted. We found her birth parents, and me and my grandmother absolutely just hit it off right away. We're just like almost like the same person. It's so weird how much we are alike. She has like an amazing garden in her backyard and full of flowers and stuff like that. And she collects rocks and crystals like I do. And she every year, and I just talked to her about this over Christmas, and she said every year at Christmas I have to have a real Christmas tree. And she said it has nothing to do with Jesus or anything, because she already told me that she isn't definitely not a Christian. But never really like said anything about other than that. And I was like, so you get the real tree for Yuletide? And she was like, yes. And I was like, whoa. Because before I met her, I was starting to go back into following like Wicca and paganism. And come to find out, birth grandmother is like into the same stuff.
Really?
So I my view on a lot of this is, I feel that your ancestry holds connection more than like a lot of people think.
It comes full circle.
Yeah, and I feel like back then, because we have, I finally found out a lot more about my family history. It's like mostly Scottish, English, and German, and so just following like the ties from is like paganism and stuff. Just kind of comes together, I guess.
So then, have you had a chance to talk to her about some of your experiences, and maybe that's where it comes from, is her side and her experiences and some of her beliefs?
Yeah, because she believes in a lot of the folklore stuff too. So I haven't really gotten too much in that, but yeah, I've told her a lot about all the things that I've seen, and I asked her, I was like, so do you believe in like the folklore stuff, like being real? She's like, yeah.
Like it's just matter of fact. She's like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool that somebody that your mother didn't even know, and she finally connected with her, and then you got connected with her, and then you're like, oh my God, like it's like you've known each other your whole lives, basically.
Yeah. I call her like once a week, every other week, and just, unfortunately she lives about hour and 45 minutes away from here in Indiana. So, but I still go try and visit. We try and visit each other all the time. But
that's very cool.
But yeah, it's just really weird that that connection, and I didn't even like know her until just recently. How close we are already. It seems like you
guys are. I was gonna say, yeah, you're catching up.
Yeah, it's
just so weird. It's like you were never apart.
Yeah, definitely. So I got a few more things at this house currently. So, I did get sleep paralysis a couple times, and the one instance I actually opened my eyes during it. I saw that creature that I saw that one night staring back at me, and I didn't really. I kind of get that feeling when like something eerie or paranormal is going. I kind of feel like there's like a crown of like energy around my head,
right?
Like a ring around it, and it kind of goes down my spine. My girlfriend also says that when she sometimes has something looking at her when she's sleeping, like, and she'll wake up and she'll see like there's something like right in front of her face staring at her, because she's kind of sensitive to some things too. Like she can tell when there's certain things around.
And what does that look like?
The kind of looks just like I want to kind of say like not the face looks like it, but like the body looks like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings.
Oh God!
But a little bit smaller. And the face isn't really all that scary, but I can't. It's hard to like recall like exactly how it looked, because I kind of just like looked at it and I saw it and I closed my eyes.
Oh, so you saw it too?
Yeah. It's the same thing.
What is so? Okay, so your girlfriend.
She says she feels like there's something looking at her when she's sleeping.
But before she was with you, did she see these things?
Not that like that, but she did say there's weird stuff goes on in her mom's house.
Like what kind of weird stuff?
Like she got like hit when she was up in the loft upstairs. Like she felt like someone's like pushing her or something, and then she said she saw someone when she was outside in the backyard. She said saw someone open the blinds and then close them, and no one was home. And she walked in, no one was there.
Okay, so your girlfriend has got some stuff going on at her relative's house, so then she's not that freaked out about what's going on at you guys' place?
Not really. I mean, she's in the same stuff that I'm into, you know.
Yeah.
And the paranormal and everything. So she's definitely always like, I think she's intrigued about it too.
That's good, right? That's cool.
Yeah.
But I do always say, and I know you've heard me say it though, when it's in your own home, it can be quite jarring. But of course, you've had this going on since you were 2. Yeah. So I guess for you, it's kind of just, it's another day in Branden's house, right? I mean, this stuff's kind of around you. But for her, maybe she hasn't experienced as much as you, so it does kind of freak her out a little bit more, or not quite so much.
A little bit it does, but I already told her, I was like, I said it's probably just a house spirit. It means no harm. I never got any bad feelings about it.
Yeah. I like that. You're like, it's a house spirit.
It's just here to watch over the place. Yeah.
And watch you, obviously, like right over your bed, which to me, I'd be like, look, I'm trying to sleep. I would really like to do that. And if you want to show yourself during the day, that might be one thing. But
I got to work in the morning.
Yeah. Like people need their sleep.
Yeah. So my dad, I moved out for a short period of time. I got a roommate with my friends, and my dad, when I left, my dad said that when he was in his room, he woke up and saw a shadow person standing in his doorway, and he yelled at it, said, "Get out!" And it zoomed out and ran through the window, and it was gone. His girlfriend saw a shadow person. She'd wake up screaming and seen something standing above her in the next to the bed. And then my little sister and her friend saw something similar in their room. So they all saw.
So your dad, though, is more like you. He's kind of like, okay, I see you there. It's time to go. Goodbye. But your dad's girlfriend, though, is screaming.
Yeah.
So she's not quite as indoctrinated as you guys.
No.
She didn't like that.
But even my dad, he's never really seen a whole lot either.
Okay.
He just takes no crap from people.
Right.
Like, just like, get out.
But your mom, though, might be a little bit more closer to your side of things. Like she has seen a lot more things. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
what about UFOs? I mean, is that the same as you, to where she's seen phantom animals and people and shadow people and UFOs and orbs?
No, she hasn't. The only time she's like really said anything was about that girl in there, and then her adopted mom passed away when she was 15. One of her friends saw a spirit in my grandfather's old house of her mom in the back. Oh. So that's another experience that she's had. Yeah. So she's seen a few things, but not a whole lot. Not nearly as much as I have. I don't know. They have a tendency to draw towards me, but.
So, I mean, honestly, why do you think that is?
I honestly don't know. It's just something that's been kind of a part of my life ever since I can remember. I
mean, it definitely seems like whoever is hanging around you, it's kind of like, well, you're going to see it whether you want to or not, and it doesn't matter how you're going to deal with it because you're going to see it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, cousins and friends and family members, but it does seem like you know how to deal with it for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, is it Jonah when his eyes turned and then he had the seizure and you're kind of like, dude, come on, let's snap out of it. I mean, whether you had anything to do with that or not, he did come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, probably didn't remember, right?
Yeah. He said he had no couldn't remember anything about what happened,
and he still doesn't to this day.
Nope. He just knows that he lost track of time, I guess.
Wow. Okay. You just sparked something there. You said lost track of time. So you've seen a UFO. You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
You've seen a UFO. You've seen all of these things. Do you have any missing time or strange marks on your body?
No, not really. Never had any missing time or anything other than that. Like, no marks on my body or nothing.
With all of the things that you've seen,
yeah.
I mean, have you made any connections? I mean, have you come to any conclusions? And it's degrading you if you have not, because that's why we're all doing this, is because we cannot make the connections and we may not be able to.
Yeah, I never came up with any connections to any of it. It's just whatever's there, just can maybe see that I'm here and kind of thinks maybe like I'm a beacon of light to them or something, and they just draw to me and like, hey, we're here.
I like that. So you can see them, and so they are just like, oh my God, he can see us, so let's just interact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's like the only thing I've ever thought about.
But isn't it interesting, though, that a lot of these experiences are just one-offs?
Yeah. A lot of them are. I mean, I've seen, like, with the elemental in my house, I've seen that a few times. I haven't seen much of shadow people. I've just seen it, like, that one time. And then sometimes I'll see apparitions, but most times it's just, like, one and on to the next.
One and done. Yeah.
Yep, one and done.
What's the one thing that was the most striking or memorable to you?
I would have to say the face in the wall when I was a kid, just because I can remember it from that far back.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fae, when I saw them in the backyard.
Yeah.
And the shadow person during my sleep paralysis.
And is there anything that you've only seen once that you would want to see again?
Definitely the Fae. Definitely the Fae. I have a fascination with folklore and creatures of that sort, so I wouldn't mind seeing those again.
What about something that you absolutely are good if you never see it again?
To be honest, probably nothing, because I even kind of like to see the bad stuff, even though it's kind of scary. it kind of just like, okay, this stuff's definitely real. It's kind of like a wake up call, I guess.
I like that answer. No, I thank you for that answer. That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. It's very honest, because I could see myself saying that. I'm like, well, it scared the shit out of me, but I wouldn't mind seeing it again.
Yeah, I don't mind being scared, because then I'm like, okay, this stuff's definitely real.
So what's the most very recent thing that's happened? Is that what your girlfriend saw?
No, I guess the most recent stuff now, my visitation dreams I've been having. It started, my first one, my grandfather on my mom's side, so her adopted grandfather, he passed away probably, I think like 3 years ago. Yeah. And I think this was last year maybe. I had a visitation dream from him, and before he died, he had a stroke and everything, so he couldn't really talk very well. But in the dream, he was perfectly healthy, talking to me and everything, giving me crap about my tattoos and stuff like that. So, so I just know that, he's doing all right. And then I had another visitation dream from my dog Scruffy that passed away last year. We had him since I lived in that house with all the voices and everything. He was kind of like, that dog was kind of like my anchor through all of it. I would take him upstairs with me and have him sit with me when stuff was going down. So this was actually just last week that this happened. The dream started where I was gonna rent out this apartment, but this apartment was apartment complex was all for musicians and artists and everything. And I saw a little cockapoo running towards me, jumped on me. I looked at his tags, had his name and the numbers on it that he had on his license tag. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, Scruffy. And I was just petting him and holding him and everything. And he was following me around through the whole dream. I think it was about a month ago. I had a dream about Odin, the Norse god. Mm-hmm. I was in this cabin in a world of perpetual twilight. And I walk out of this cabin into the woods. And I got lost in these woods. But I'm calm. I'm just walking through them. It's more like a gray tone to everything. Like an old 50s movie or old 30s movie where it's all black and white or whatever. And everything just it was calm, but there was no light, but you could still see. I'm walking through there and I'm kind of lost, but just wandering. And all of a sudden I hear a deep voice saying, "Odin is in you." And then I repeat, "Odin is in me." And then I woke up.
So if you're having one of these dreams, these mm-hmm. visitation dreams, and you see Scruffy and you're holding him and you're scratching him, "Hey buddy, what's up?" Mm-hmm. Do you have confirmation that it's more than that? It is in fact you touching base with Scruffy in a dream. I mean, do you wake up and you can maybe smell him on you or anything like that? Or is it more just the experience while you're in the dream?
It's more like the experience, I think. Because I'd never really had anything like that where dealing with smells or anything when I woke up.
Yeah. The world of perpetual twilight. That is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like I said about the, how I believe that there's multiple different worlds connected by Yggdrasil. I think what I believe is there's another plane, kind of adjacent to ours, which is everything looks exactly like ours, but there's no light. I think that's where I was at, and that's where I believe a lot of certain folklore creatures can travel between the veil of our plane and that one, and then they can go to other ones too.
See, and Branden, if you were able to, how some people, they will astral project and they can go across the world or to other worlds or whatever they may want to do if they are to that point. Can you get to the point where you can astral project to that plane? Is that possible?
I believe 100% that it is possible. And maybe in that dream, that was me astral projecting to that plane. But it could have been very well been a dream, but I think dreams have a little bit more to them than just your neurons making pictures in your head,
Yeah.
I believe there's more to it than that.
So maybe you actually were able in that space to astral project to where Scruffy was and interact with that dog when it's happy and healthy, and that's where it is now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good possibility. That could be it.
I mean, is this something that you're working on? Are you working on astral projection?
I haven't really. Since I was younger, it just kind of once in a while just kind of pops in, and then it just not even me trying. I just happens.
Have you ever thought of? And I've asked other guests this, and I don't want to offend anybody, and it's not even something that I think I would maybe personally do, but I've talked to people that have. Yeah. They haven't been on the show because it's a very touchy subject.
Yeah.
You might know where I'm going with this, but taking something like DMT or ayahuasca or something like that, is that something that you're open to, maybe further tap into this other side of your brain and see where it takes you?
Definitely not. I'm actually straight edge, so I don't even drink or smoke or anything, so and never tried anything like that. So yeah, definitely not fine. Doing that. I
mean, do you think that is a way for people that are, people that don't fast and meditate or just aren't tied into that side? Do you think that is possible for, I hate to call it lazy people because that's not maybe the right word, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
it's just a quick way to boom, you're over here, you're over there, you're with this being or that being, and tapping into that other side. Do you think that's possible with things like that?
Definitely. I definitely believe that.
I totally get where you're coming from because I'm like, that would freak me out. I don't know if I could ever. Did you watch that movie Banshee Chapter? I've talked about it on the show before.
No, I haven't. Actually.
It's all about DMT. Yeah, just scribble down Banshee Chapter. I think you have to actually get the DVD. It's so I don't think it's on. It was on Netflix at one point for a blip in time, and then it was gone.
Yeah,
it's all about taking DMT and basically tapping into that other side, and kind of you're just a receiver basically. So, which honestly, Branden, after listening to these experiences, I really feel like you are. I don't know how else to say that because of all of the experiences that you've shared and that are still going on. I mean, you just said something happened last week, so you're kind of just this lightning rod for things to come through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that. And then I can just, tell when something's there. Kind of just sparks that spot. I always kind of refer to it now that I've done a lot of more research on things. But my crown chakra, I believe that starts there and I can feel it, and then it shoots down through the rest. That's when I get the chill down my back, and it's only in that area, crown and then down. So I think that it is that I can sense things through my chakra energy.
Okay, now you won't offend me if you say that this will not happen. But for someone like me, and you've heard me say it, and I said it earlier, I'm I'm as psychic as rock. I'm as sensitive as rock.
Yeah.
You've had experiences since you were 2. And then we've gone through the list of things. Do you think that someone like me I can train myself to be more open and see things or feel things when I go to a friend's house or a house? You mentioned the house you might have bought, and you and your brother, who is autistic, he sensed something. I mean, is this something that can be trained, or do you think that it is in your blood? It's born within you.
I think that with it being born in me is just a way for me to not have to work as hard to experience these things. But I do believe that you can work towards training your third eye or your and your other chakras and align them better, or stuff like that. Carrying crystals on you that relate to certain parts of being able to see the things beyond the veil. So I do believe that people must learn and amplify things for themselves. For me, it just happens naturally. I didn't really have to work towards it. Working towards it more makes it a little more potent.
it amplifies it. So, okay, just really quickly, And you've been on for so long, and I appreciate that.
Oh,
So
no, it's all right.
the crystals, you said carrying crystals with you,
Yeah.
and I've heard this before. So for me, I'm like a brick, and I'm like, I would love to just experience more things. So if I wanted that, what crystals would I carry? And you're talking about like, I mean, from the moment you wake up until when you go to bed, or like when you go to bed, you take it out of your pocket and put it next to your bed. Like, what does it mean carrying it?
I don't really carry them in my pocket as much as I used to, but I keep them in my backpack. But I carry a whole bunch of stones, but my main ones that I usually do carry, I carry my pendulum, which I either take my smoky quartz or my bloodstone pendulum, and then clear quartz, which amplifies other things because it's a neutral crystal. And then I'd always carry pyrite, which is fool's gold. It's good for grounding protection. Obsidian, which is extremely good for protection. And I would carry amethyst, always amethyst, my birthstone, and this also amplifies your third eye chakra.
So you would recommend carrying whatever birthstone?
That and the amethyst, definitely. That's just the amethyst specifically is good for your third eye. So
if I really wanted to get some stuff going, say because you mentioned the pyrite and the obsidian for protection. So is it against something that you would say is advisable to just, what if I was like, let's really get some stuff going, and I'm going to take some smoky quartz and amethyst and the clear quartz, and I'm not going to take the pyrite and the obsidian because I don't want to be protected. I just want to get some shit going. Like, what would be the perfect mix for someone that really wants to amplify something?
To be honest, I'm not really sure. I just carry those two with me because I just don't want
you have a lot
negative.
of stuff going.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I just keep those two with me for
okay.
Like, let's say I'm doing my scrying. If it's something bad, I don't want it to come at me. But I mean, I guess if you're really wanting to, even if it's negative, yes, don't carry it. But I just always advise. Like, I have friends that were like, "Hey, man, do you anything? I been having some weird things going on. You know, like here's some pyrite or here's some obsidian because I usually keep an extra bits of those to give away just in case someone needs one."
Man, so you carry that extra just in case.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how much you might come across this stuff.
Yeah.
See, that's so opposite of what I've got going on. Even though, like, I live and I breathe this stuff. I mean, I talk to I talk to people all the time and emails, and I'm reading this stuff constantly. So that's just so opposite of what I got going on in my daily life. So what other stones or crystals? Is there anything else, or is that basically the list?
I do carry some random stuff that I honestly forget the names of. Another one I carry around. I haven't done it much lately, but if I'm like going somewhere and I want to like kind of like be more open and like talkative, I'll carry around blue kyanite, and that's really good for your throat chakra and speaking in public spaces and stuff like that. So I'll carry around I have a necklace that I use for that kind of specific things.
I should wear that every time I interview somebody, because at some point I'm always stumbling over some words, right?
Oh, that's me all the time. Like,
yeah, that's me too.
Especially I do the live streaming. I'm just sitting there stumbling over words. I should probably wear it every time, but
now, okay, here's a really random, stupid, probably question.
Yeah.
If you have blue cyanite, do you wear it in your pocket, or do you put it around your neck on a thong of leather, like right around your throat?
I have it. So it's like a necklace. It kind of goes down middle of my chest, but it's like leather, goes down the middle of my chest. And I have another one too. So.
Okay, so that wasn't quite so stupid because you actually do wear it near your throat.
Yeah, so I do carry it around my neck. So that, and there's a piece of amethyst attached to it also. So I got both of those on the same necklace.
And what's the amethyst for?
The third eye.
So that would also tie into someone like me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm self-professed, closed off. So amethyst would be another good one to open that third eye to help me see.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I always carry amethyst with me everywhere I go.
Okay, so that is one then that is, you carry the blue cyanide and the amethyst on the necklace, basically.
Yeah.
Those two. But you don't carry any of the protection stuff, the protection stones or crystals.
I do carry, those are always with me too, so I got a bag.
Oh my gosh.
With my pendulum, and then my main crystals that I just picked. Some of them were for a reason, some of them I felt drawn to. And I line them up in a grid, like a circle. And I would set, I forget the actual stone, but it's like a slice of a stone, and it's polished on each side. I set that down the center, and then I put my clear quartz on it to amplify, and then I'll do my scrying over that circle. And it kind of amplifies everything around it.
So what would happen if anything, or have you not tried it? Maybe you don't forget these things. What would happen if you forgot some of these protection stones or crystals?
I have ways that I've learned through Wicca of protecting yourself from things, but I always just carry around those stones just as a scapegoat, just in case something happens, So when I envision for protection, is a ball in your solar plexus of light, and you just visualize it, because a lot of things in Wicca, a lot of things like witchcraft, it's more like visualizations than hocus pocus stuff,
Yeah, like so you're not chopping up frog's legs and putting in goat's breath and stuff, right?
None of that. Now we do, there's herb work and everything, but a lot of it's visualizing things. And you visualize a ball of light in your solar plexus, and then you just expand it like a bubble around you, and it keeps you protected.
Okay, so grabbing the stones and the crystals is just like putting on your shoes in the morning. Like, this is something that you don't forget during the day.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, always with me. I always got my backpack with me, so they're always in the front pocket ready to go.
So that's in your backpack, and then you go to work or wherever you go. I'm not assuming that the backpack is literally always on your back then, right?
No.
But as long as it's in proximity, you're okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I always keep it within a couple minutes walk out to my car or whatever.
Your girlfriend, though, because now she's seen what she's seen in your home, not in the too far past, is she now, or did she already carry these stones and crystals, and is she doing protective things around her?
Oh yeah, she is now.
Because of that incident?
No, just I have been carrying them, so she kind of got into the same things that I am, so she started carrying them, and so we got a whole big chest of all different types of stones and stuff.
You guys probably have a really cool house.
Yeah. It's full of video games and stones and books and computers.
Do you guys have a Ouija board or tarot cards or anything like that?
Tarot cards, but no Ouija board. We don't really mess with that. I heard too many bad things about them, and I'm just like, I don't really need to do that.
Yeah.
I'll just stick with my pendulum. It's a lot safer.
Yeah. But in essence, that is the same thing, right? But you feel like it's more controlled somehow?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's more controlled.
Or maybe the door doesn't open as wide.
Yeah. I feel like something's up with there's some people that can use a Ouija boards, and they're professionals at it, and they have no issues with it. But people around me, they have had a lot of issues with it, and I'm just like, I'm good. I don't need a shadow cloaked man stalking me on my roof.
No. Well, because you've had enough.
Yeah.
You've had quite a lot of things.
I would like to see it, but I definitely don't want it following me everywhere.
Yeah, not all the time, right? I mean, so for you, just in closing, not to mention what's going on or what has gone on in your own home, but when you go outside, You know, the black triangle. I mean, that's something that even my own stepbrother has seen, a silent black triangle, and it like changed his life, you know. And he might be more like me, to where that was the only weird thing he's ever seen, and it was so impactful, to where maybe you're a little bit more muted with something like that because you've seen so many things. But are you going outside your home and, you know, you're kind of glancing up and going, oh, I'm going to see that again, and what does it all mean?
Oh yeah, I'm always constantly like,
okay.
When I was driving an hour and a half to work, and it was like middle of the night, like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I always look up at the sky, and of course I'm listening to different paranormal podcasts and everything. Yeah. But I'm always looking up the sky, like, oh come on, I want to see something. I want to see like a saucer flying across the street.
That's good to know then. So it doesn't actually numb you when you see more things. I mean, you may not freak out or lose sleep for months after such an event, but it is impactful. It's
definitely exhilarating seeing all these different things.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wish I saw more, even though I've seen a lot. It kind of, as time goes by, you kind of feel like days go by and you're like, oh man, it's been so long since I've seen something.
So are you then actually going, oh, I'm kind of worried it's done. Is it done for me?
Yes, I do get very, honestly terrified that it's going to be over with and I'm not going to be able to see stuff again. It's been such a part of my life. I just don't want to lose that gift.
No, that's really cool to hear that, actually. I think it's kind of refreshing to hear that, because sometimes you hear people that will see something and rightfully so, it's extremely terrifying. They don't sleep for months or years and it changes their life. But that's one of the few times I've ever just asked, well, what if it stops? And you're like, well, actually, I'm worried that it will.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely don't want it. It's been amazing seeing all this weird stuff.
Okay, so in closing, and this is actual final closing, I appreciate you so much, Branden.
Oh, not a problem.
Do you think that just talking about this, going through the list of all the things you've gone through in your life, do you think this might amplify things? Or, it's just another normal night for you?
I'm not sure, but I definitely kind of hope so. You
do? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to hear that. I like that. I don't hear a lot of people saying that, so that's good to hear, because a lot of, that on my show, I kind of make fun of, not make fun of, I just say, it just seems so much different when it's in your own home. And I'm kind of like, well, I like sleep, so, but I guess for somebody like you, that it's kind of more than normal.
Yeah.
You sleep fine.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And you don't want it to stop.
No. When... lately, I haven't really, other than the Visitation dreams, I haven't really seen much. Now, sometimes I'll get I'll wake up, feels like something's there, but I don't see anything. But I'm well, other than that, nothing's been things have quieted down. I think it's maybe just the house I'm in, just not nearly as active as previous homes. But
it's stifling you.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Visitation dreams are some kind of I don't know, you're graduated somehow from seeing, what you used to, or hearing what you used to, and then the Visitation dreams are, if you progress through astral projection and you go from Ohio to New York versus Ohio to Indiana. Is that how you see that? Or you're just kind of waiting for the next shoe to drop and the next thing to happen?
I'm kind of just waiting for the next thing to happen.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah.
Yeah. Or waiting for your girlfriend to wake up and go, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Well, Branden, I hope you keep in touch with me, because I would like to hear more of your tales.
Yeah, definitely. If I remember any more, I'll send you an email.
Please do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank your girlfriend. I know I kept you for a long time. I apologize for that.
That's all right.
I get off on tangents, so thank you so much, and keep in touch.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You guys have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I'm so-and-so. I was given this name by my parents. I've been to such and such a college. I've done these things in my profession. I produce a little biography. Buddha says, forget it. That's not true. That's some story. That's all gone. That's all past. I want to see the real you are now. Well, nobody knows who that is. Because we don't know ourselves except through listening to our echoes and consulting our memories. But then there's a real you, and that again leads us back to this question. Who are you? That is the real you. We shall see how they play with this exam by the koans to get you to come out of your shell and find out who you really are. says, when you settle down in the train to read your newspaper and so on, you are not the same person who a little while ago left the platform. If you think you are linking your moments up in a chain. And this is what binds you to the wheel of birth and death. But when you know that every moment in which you are is the only moment, this comes into Zen. A master will say to somebody, get up and walk across the room. And he comes back and he says, where are your footprints? They've gone. So where are you? Who are you? When we are asked who we are, we usually give a kind of recitation of a history.